Hey, random people out there on the internet. If you've been following along on this Birdhouse II series, part of the beginner series, we're coming to the point where I need to drill a hole for the birds. I discussed yesterday trying to use a Forstner bit, but determined that my Forstner bits don't have a big enough diameter to really accommodate anything but just the smallest of birds. So I have to use what they call a hole saw in a drill. And then yesterday I suggested that if you spin it backwards, you can score the wood. And then if you spin it forward, you can go ahead and drill, and it will reduce the amount of tear out. That is, the slivers and splinters and stuff that may tear off from the other side. Well, I have since called an audible and made a change on that. So if we take a look here, we'll see what I'm talking about. So this piece is just like this, okay? And what we've done here is I put a piece on here, I taped it down so it doesn't move. And then I put a piece on the inside and taped it down so it doesn't move. So in theory, when the drill passes through here, whatever tear out it's going to do in the front of this birdhouse is going to be done on this piece of MDF. And if it tears out on the back, it'll be on this piece of this mesquite wood. And hopefully leave a clean hole in the actual piece. We're going to see how that works out. So the first thing I did is I wanted to figure out where I want this hole, and I want it to be up a little bit so it doesn't come in contact with any of the reinforcement I have in the back, and I want it to be kind of in the center of the peak. So I've made marks here and done all that. Off camera I started getting ready with my drill press. Now let's talk about the drill press for a minute. What do we have here? Obviously a drill press. Bit, and there's where you put your chuck in. The activation, of course, is to crank down on your handle. You have a speed control over here, and right now it's set to the fastest speed. You can see that. Here you have something that you can control your depth by setting it, these here and these here. It controls just how much you can actually move the thing. Right now I have it set so that hopefully it will pass through this wood and into the wood underneath without drilling all the way down to the table. Now, I've already set it up, but what I did was I went ahead and I had my fence here. I went ahead and tightened down my fence so that the piece is right where I want it to be under this. And then I also have a stop block on the end of my fence right here so that this will be held in place for the entire time. What you don't want is you don't want it loose and being able to twist and carry on like that. So I think without any further ado, I'm going to try to make this cut. So wish me luck, everybody. So let's see what we did. Well, that's very interesting. But I don't think I made it all the way through there. Let's try it one more time, just for S&G. Okay, so I think I got what I wanted. Now you heard it kind of stop and whatnot. First of all, that's indicative of a couple of things. My drill press is kind of underpowered. It's not one of those big heavy duty ones. So it will stop on occasion. Also, my blade's probably not as sharp as it could be. But it appears that I did what I wanted to do. So let's take all this tape off and all these extra pieces off and see if it did a nice clean hole like I predicted. Well, there's my hole, and that's pretty crisp. The back had a little bit of tear out on it. If you look close enough, you can see the little splintering. But of course, that's on the inside. It's less important. It did miss this as I intended. A little bit of sandpaper and knocked those edges off just a little bit. But what I was really concerned with was the front. I wanted the front nice and clean, and that appears to be very, very clean. So anyway, there you have it. There's our hole for our birds. So that'll be looking about like that. I think that'll be okay. So next videos, I'm going to start assembling this thing. I'll probably do a bit of it off camera because it's boring, okay? But you can see that despite the mess it made, my drill press did what I wanted it to. But again, my drill press, a little underpowered. But that's what I could afford. And that goes back to the original thought process in getting started with woodworking. When you first start, you might want to settle for tools that aren't as expensive, may not be as good as some of the high-end tools, but they'll get the job done. You just have to be more patient. I was a little impatient there. If I'd have taken a little bit more time and been a little more careful or checked how sharp my hole saw was, it might have made a difference. But in any event, what we're really interested in is the end result, and I like what we got. So thanks for watching. There'll be more on Birdhouse II coming up in the near future. In the meantime, appreciate your views, appreciate your subscriptions. Please share this with others who might be like-minded. And if you like my channel, go ahead and do a subscription. And the most important thing, as always, be safe.